it seems to me the Giants are pretty set at receiver. I mean, they have two really good receivers, one great one and one really good one. And Brandon Marshall helps there, sure, but their real issue, the Giants' real issue, is and has since their last Super Bowl team been a terrible offensive line. And an offensive line Jerry Reese keeps missing in the draft, at left tackle in particular. They got to get moved over to the right side or to guard. And that's where the need still is. And there are free agents that you're going to have to spend money on. You'd think if you're serious about winning next year on the O-line, why is that money being spent on a receiver? Well, it seems because you could get him undervalued. That's what it seems like to me. So happy as a Giants fan to have an excellent player for less money than he seems to be worth, but still wondering what the Giants are going to do on the offensive line.
Well, you sound like it's July. Last time I checked, it's the month of March. It's plenty of time. The draft hasn't even taken place yet. I mean, calm the hell down, Max Kellerman. Chill with the pump the brakes just a touch. And you also got to take into account the fact the reason why I love this for the New York Giants so much is that it reminds me of the New England Patriots, because I remember a few years back when their offensive when their offensive line coach was gone. New England had some issues with their offensive line as well, but what they did was they had a bevy of weapons for Tom Brady to throw the football to get rid of the ball quickly and make things happen in that regard. And because of it, they still ended up being effective. They didn't win the Super Bowl title, but they certainly went to the AFC Championship game when they lost to the Denver Broncos. What I'm saying to you with the New York Giants, you have an Odell Beckham Jr., you have a Sterling Shepard, and now what you have is a guy like Brandon Marshall who can really be a slot receiver if you need him to. He can play on the outside if you need him to. He can be a big-time bona fide number 2 option if you want him to as well. He's an interchangeable part. You can do a lot of different things with him. So again, I don't disagree with you when we're talking about Reese and needing to buffer that offensive line, especially when they played Eric Flowers out of position and we saw what happened with the kind of year that he had. But I do think that you have to consider the fact that with adding another weapon for Eli Manning,
yes,
that's another roundabout way to go about protecting him, because you have an additional weapon which will assist in helping him get rid of the ball quicker, adding an additional target, et cetera, et cetera. And the fact that you're able to do all of those things, I think elevates the New York Giants. Now we get to the big question, Max, and I'm surprised you left it up to me to bring this up instead of yourself. When you consider how effective the New York Giants defense was last year and how they had upgraded, the fact that you now have Brandon Marshall, again, I'm not poo-pooing your notion that they've got to buffer the offensive line. Boo-Boo the Fool can see that. We all know they got to buffer that offensive line. But the acquisition of Brandon Marshall with Shepard and Odell Beckham Jr., I think you look at the Giants collaborating with that defense with the addition of Brandon Marshall, they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender with this move.
Listen, he's a tremendous upgrade, over Victor Cruz last year. Essentially, that's who he's replacing. Victor Cruz couldn't get separation, is not a big target like Brandon Marshall, and at his best was excellent, but really best suited as a number 2 receiver. Brandon Marshall, until last year, was one of the best half-dozen receivers in the NFL, was a great receiver, just about on that level with Odell Beckham and obviously Antonio Brown and Julio Jones and all those guys, A.J. Green, Des Bryant. Like, Brandon Marshall was giving you that kind of production, and you'd expect his production next year to split the difference maybe between last year, which wasn't really him, and the year before. I get that, but what's the Giants' issue? The passing game? No, it's blocking in the running game.
But how about that Packers game? Why did the Giants lose? It was all the drops. I get that they have Odell Beckham Jr., and I get that they have Sterling Shepard and how talented they are, but they could have used Brandon Marshall then when they couldn't hold on to the ball after that whole South Beach debacle.
A big, sure-handed veteran target. I'm Max Kellerman. Thanks for stopping by. Before you go, hit the button below to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a moment of me taking down Stephen A. Smith.